What if the sequel to Star Wars Jedi Survivor didn't just continue Cal Kestis' journey, but completely redefined it? Imagine a world where the raw, unchained power of the Force Unleashed collides with Cal's struggle, forcing him to confront the most lethal warrior the galaxy has ever known, Starkiller. And what if you didn't just face Starkiller, but became him? Today we're not just speculating on a sequel, we're shattering all expectations. Dive deep with me into some wild theories, game-changing story beats, and the epic clashes that could make this third installment the defining Star Wars experience. Welcome back to Cult Rushmore, folks, and I'm genuinely excited today to dive into one of my all-time favourite things, and that's Star Wars. You know, from the very first time I saw it as a kid, this franchise has been a part of my DNA, and even though it's had its recent ups and downs, my love for it has never wavered. So please grab a cold drink, kick back, and let's lose ourselves in the endless possibilities of what if. Cal Kestis, he's come a long way, but he's constantly walking that razor's edge, torn between the Jedi Code and the brutal reality of survival. This makes him stand out in an era where many Jedi feel untouchable, almost disconnected. Cal's different. He's flawed, he's struggling, and let's be honest, there's that darkness within him. Survivor teased his battles with the dark side, but what if that was just the beginning? What if his fight against the Empire isn't just external, but a personal war raging inside him? Now, throwing Kata into the mix, she's more than just a potential apprentice. She could be something entirely new, a fusion of Night Sister magic under Merrin's watch and some Jedi training. I know we've seen Ventress walk that line before, but Kata's story could take it even further, learning what it truly takes to become adept in both. But training an apprentice is no easy task, and the real question is, will Cal even succeed? Or will his own struggles make him a flawed mentor? Could his failures push Kata down a path he never intended? That burden alone could break him, forcing him to question his own purpose. This idea of an internal conflict I'll keep referring back to, but it's the outside forces and mysteries of Tanalorr that could be the catalyst for his struggles. Seer may have fallen, but in a galaxy where the Force often bends reality, could she return not as a Force ghost, but as something far more sinister? And what if the sanctuary they fought so hard to protect in Tanalorr isn't what they thought it was at all? Remember Dagan Gera's obsession with Tanalorr? It always felt off to me. What if the planet itself is tied to deep-rooted dark side energy? What if it's all warping Cal's mind the longer he stays? Imagine a psychological battle just as intense as any duel with the Empire could be. A Jedi losing himself, haunted by his past, and unravelling with each moment. This is the kind of storytelling that could elevate Jedi 3 into something bold, unexpected, challenging, and truly unforgettable. I loved Jedi Survivor. The character work on Cal Kestis has been some of the best in modern Star Wars. His growth, his struggles, it all feels real, grounded. But his trials, they're far from over. And that brings me to The Force Unleashed. One of my all-time favourite Star Wars games. And maybe I'm biased, but let's be real, who didn't play that game to death on release? Starkiller's story, his insane abilities, and the sheer power it gave players, it was truly an unforgettable experience. And Sam Witwer? Not much needs to be said, really. Just absolutely legendary. Sadly, the dream of The Force Unleashed 3, it's long gone. But what if the Jedi series and The Force Unleashed could merge? What if Starkiller was finally canonized in a way that honoured his legacy while giving us the most intense rivalry in Star Wars gaming in a long time? A showdown between Cal Kestis and Galen Merrick. This is the kind of fan service Disney needs right now. And if this was somehow to happen, I think it would have a real shot in bringing back some lapsed fans. Look, I know this is wishful thinking, but I don't want another safe Star Wars story. The franchise needs risk-taking, and games are the perfect place to experiment with darker, more intense narratives. The Force Unleashed was all about pushing the limits of what the Force could do. If Jedi 3 even tapped into a fraction of that, with the likes of Force Repulse, lightning, and crazy telekinetic destruction, it would take combat to a whole new level. And imagine if Cal unlocked those powers not from strength, but from his growing connection to Tanalorr and the dark side. If Lucasfilm finally canonizes Starkiller, what role would he play? An Inquisitor? A rogue Sith assassin? Or a failed experiment from Palpatine's cloning projects? No, let's keep it simple. Make him what he was always meant to be, and that's Vader's secret apprentice. A weapon forged in the shadows, hidden even from the Emperor, trained for one purpose: hunting down Jedi and wiping them from the galaxy. And his next target? Cal Kestis. But let's be real, Starkiller in The Force Unleashed was insanely overpowered. If he were to fit into Jedi 3, he'd need some adjustments. Tone him down slightly, but keep him leagues above any Inquisitor. He shouldn't just be a boss fight, he should be a true rival, and a dark mirror of what Cal could become. Now, this is where my What If series really goes into that what if. This is where things are going to get real crazy. Instead of forcing players to choose just one side, what if the game let us play as both? Imagine this for a moment: Cal and Starkiller. They clash earlier on in a pivotal duel. The fight ends with Cal left broken, presumed dead, while Starkiller, believing his mission complete, returns to Vader with Cal's saber as proof of his victory. From this moment on, the game splits, allowing players to switch between Cal and Starkiller, each on their own path with distinct abilities, moral struggles, and their own journey toward the final battle. And back in Vader's grasp, Starkiller has proven himself, but instead of hunting Jedi, Vader gives him a new mission. I'm picturing a boss rush through the likes of Fortress Inquisitorius. You see, Vader would see an opportunity to weaken Palpatine's forces from within, turning Starkiller into his personal executioner. This could be our nod to The Force Unleashed's original narrative, a relentless power trip as Starkiller tears through fellow Imperials and Inquisitors in a raw display of dark-side mastery. This would in turn bring us closer to the world state set before A New Hope. But is he truly in control, or is he just another pawn in Vader's endless cycle of betrayal? Meanwhile, Cal is barely alive. He's lost his weapon, but this is where his true test begins. Stripped of everything, he must confront his demons, his anger, his doubts, and maybe even the apparition of Seer that the darkness of Tanalorr has conjured. You see, what if Tanalorr itself is warping his mind? What if the sanctuary he fought so hard to protect has roots in dark-side corruption, slowly pulling him under? The longer he stays, the more his vision of reality distorts. This could lead to his true Jedi trials. Does he embrace the dark side strength to survive, or does he forge a new path, proving a Jedi is far more than just their weapon? For me, I would like to see Cal resist the dark side and become the Jedi he was always destined to be. And finally, as Cal and Starkiller's paths collide once more, the ultimate moment arrives. What if the game lets you choose who you fight as in the final battle? Do you step into the light with Cal, determined to stop his dark reflection and save what remains of your friends? Or do you embrace the dark as Starkiller, proving your strength and fully embracing your destiny as Vader's successor? This choice wouldn't just determine the ending, it would redefine Star Wars gaming and bring it back to where it should be. I don't know about you, but the absence of a light side ending or a dark side ending is really felt in modern Star Wars. I miss it. And yes, the light side ending can be considered canon, but imagine setting up a Starkiller vs Darth Vader DLC with its own standalone Legends story. But now, it's up to you guys, Jedi or Sith alike. What do you want from the next game? Should Starkiller return? And should Cal's fate be in our hands? But perhaps the real question, who would you choose in that fatal final duel? Please drop your thoughts in the comments and hit that like button if you love Star Wars speculation, and subscribe for more galactic content. And lastly, please do let me know if you enjoyed this What If episode. I love throwing out wild speculation and bold theories, so it's something I'm keen to do more of if there is a demand for it. Until next time though, goodbye and good night.